to do two things today. One, we are going to review this paint set, and two, we're going to paint together. So we're not just here to learn about paints. We're going to do two things at once. This is by Liang. I hope I'm saying that right. And they're the paints that we always use and we always love. Typically, we're using this paint set here, and it is a 36 color paint set. The one that they sent me is 52 colors, but it's a new and improved. Apparently they had another one in the past, but on this one they said they changed, I think, like 11 of their colors, and they kind of restructured where they put the paints and changed the internal packaging. So it's a little bit new, and I think it's really cool. It looks like this on the inside. There's a couple different color options that you can get, but that's a lot of paints. Like, it's kind of heavy. But what I really like already is that it's in a small, it's tiny still, so it's not going to get in my way like some of the bigger ones. So that's the paint set we're looking at today. And I have a drawing. Somebody's going to get a free paint set. So your paint set is opened because I opened it already. I'm sorry. But it's still like basically in perfect condition, and box is nice and everything. Somebody's going to get a whole set of 52 paints. So I'll just tell you now in the comments below what I'm looking for in order to be put into the free drawing for the paints is I want you to tell us of a favorite holiday memory, because that feels like valuable to all of us. It sounds so fun to hear your memories. And then you also must be a subscriber to my YouTube channel. So if you haven't, you'll just kind of click on that, give us a memory. And in about a week, I'm going to do a review, or I'm sorry, I'm going to do a drawing and somebody will win the set of paints. So, okay, so I think that's basically it. I'm going to turn the camera around, show you some things, and we're going to paint together. Okay, so this is where I went through and I just tested out all of the colors and just made my own swatches so they were in order. And I tried to guess which ones were the new colors and stuff. So I had fun doing this, just kind of a mindless thing. Also, I tested out the ink pen, but not on camera, but the ink is great. And also I like the brush, but the brush is just a little bit short, so I'd want a shorter water jar if I used that. Okay, I'm gonna open this part up. So first of all, this was in here. And that's fine, but then I want my palette. So I took it out, and it comes with a brush. I'm not sure about the brush. It's cute because it's clear. My son thinks it's very cool. And I did kind of hold it up and test it out already. And so far, it seems like when I'm pulling at it, the bristles aren't just coming right out. So potentially a really nice brush. It's real cute. So I like that. This is a pencil. To me, a pencil is like nice, but I don't care too much. I got pencils. This is a little water-resistant, water-based pen. It seems to me to be like a micron, so we'll test that out. And then this is always funny to me because, like, yes, I paint with watercolors and I teach with watercolors, and I'm also like, what's that for? Because I don't use it. So, but I mean, right off the bat, I think, well, you could soak up watercolors. I mean, let's see what happens. And literally, this is me just guessing because I don't know. But I don't know if you'd want to do that because it is full of paint. Somebody's going to be laughing at this if I actually decide to share it. But what do you need this for? Who knows? But to me, what's valuable is a paint set, the brush. This, I think, will be lovely. I have a great feeling about that because the brush seems to be of high quality. And then they also sent me this little package of paper, and I thought that was interesting because I'm kind of true to Canson, and so we'll test this out as well. It feels good. You can kind of see the texture on it, and so that's what the set is. All right, what I didn't show you yet is that this stuff comes in there as well. And here's what it is. There's a little set of paper that's this size, so that's kind of cute. And there's a little guard you can put on top of your paints so it wouldn't get your paper all painty, although I leave paint in here, so I'm not sure about that. And it does have a little swatch paper that you can put all the different colors on as well. It is backwards again. I don't understand that. White. So like this would be reverse. So whatever to that. We've already learned we can cut them in strips and move them however we want. But they also did this time. So kind of like you don't have to do it if you don't want to do it. This also, though, I'm going to point out, is backwards. It's like mirror image. So I'm not sure why that one is that way, but that's okay. It's nice that you've got them here with the names if you want them. And then you could do them like this if you want, or you could do them this way. So you saw me doing the paint swatches already. I just decided instead of using this to just do it on my own. But what is funny is as I did it, I was like, oh, line it up perfectly. Did I? No, because this is white and I forgot all about it. So I lined them all up with this one. Anyway, this is nice. I think I really like the colors. I'm going to get this kind of out of our way, but that is nice to have small paper for when you want to kind of take your paints in your car with you or travel with them or whatever. But what I did was I kind of picked out, these are the colors that seem to be different to me. And I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm missing a few, but I do like that, like just from painting a lot with the 36 set, I could tell that these ones were different. So we've got some different yellows. See these like creamy colors I really like. There's a little bit of extra green, and we've got the metallic colors, which I think is really fun for Christmas. If you wanted to try to grab these before the December series starts, I bet you'd have fun using those in your holiday paintings. So cute colors. I like the variety. I like that there's more, and it's kind of just more paints to learn, you know, because this is 52, but we can mix them together to get a whole bunch of colors, not only by adding water to some of them to make them lighter or more paint to make them darker, but also this is more options to mix. I'm a fan. I like how we didn't go nuts with the metallics, but we just got 2 of them in here. For me, that's all I actually need, just kind of personally, though the other ones are fun. This is a set that seems very practical to me. So big fan. And when I was saying I like that it's smaller, yeah, I don't have any next to me, but what I like is when I'm painting, I don't want this whole thing, if it's bigger, to get in the way. I want to be able to get to my stuff and get to my paper. So I like it. What we're going to do today is this. I hope you love it already. It is playing with wet on wet, which is kind of the favorite thing to do with watercolors. But look at all the different color variations I've done in here. And the focus really was that on all the leaves, we would do cooler colors. We get a little bit into a dark brown here, but basically cooler colors here, warmer colors on the berries. And so we're going to kind of do this together. I'm going to keep it a little bit more of a condensed version versus the full tutorial today. So here's what we're going to do. Let's go through supplies real quick because I think that is helpful. I'm using a size 10 round watercolor brush, and I can link that. I've got a pencil and a kneaded eraser. This is a 140-pound cold press watercolor paper. I have got our new set that we're trying out. It's a cutie. And we'll have our reference here. What else do we need? If you wanted to have a water bottle to spray your paints with, we can do that. And if you are, see, all these aren't touching, so I don't think we'll actually need our heat gun today, but maybe at the end you might want to use a heat gun. And you will need water and a towel or a paper towel. And I think that is our complete list. So I'm going to, well, we're not doing anything with paints yet. I don't want to get ahead of myself. Okay. This part, you'll notice, because we always like to observe first, this is the idea of holly and ivy, or holly berries and, yeah, holly and the ivy, right? Basically. And they're similar but different. It's not overthought. They are at random. There are some groupings and some singles. And the basic shape for this, I'm going to do it this way so I can press kind of hard on my pencil and you can see it real easily, is that, and this was my favorite doodle in like high school, by the way, is like where it's inward scoops, like inward rainbows, and they all butt up next to each other. And then 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, really watching for that nice scoop inside of each of them, okay? And that's what we're doing. And if some of them start and they get like this and they're short and squatty, great. And if some of them are long and skinny, Also great. We can have a whole variety, and I think they're going to be lovely together. Okay, so we're not worrying about a single thing here. We're just going to play with watercolor paints. And what I want us to do here, we don't even need the reference for it because we just learned how to do this, and these are some sort of circular shape, and we're going to go at random. So I already started our sketch just to sort of save us time today. You can pause at any time, and like I'm just going to start over here for this one, and we're doing that shape where we have these inward scoops, and we want 6 of them. Okay, so we need to have 2 ends and scoops on the sides. And I'll do another one at a completely different angle. I think let them be wonky. It really, really adds interest. And I like sometimes, though, for the berries to be kind of encompassed by them. I kind of want a bunch of berries on here, but the more you sketch, the more you paint. So if you want this to be quick, you'll do a shorter one. If you want to sit and paint for a little while, you'll add more. It's already cute, isn't it? And I even like the white space, so you don't really need to balance the whole thing out. I'll just do, I think I would just do one here. And then whenever you feel like you're almost done, I do want you just to look at it for a minute, and you're using your own eyes, your own perspective, your own thoughts on whether it looks done or not. And I think I'll let this one be done. So that was me taking a second to look at it. I'm going to move my pencil and my eraser out of the way. And I'll just let you know now that if you paint with watercolor paint over your pencil, you're going to lock your pencil in. So if there's anything you don't want to see later, get rid of it. I'm a big fan of pencil. And if you look at this, you can see my pencil work all throughout, and I do not plan on getting rid of it. I love seeing the journey of art, how we got here. So what we're going to do, let's get into our paints so we can kind of see how this set is feeling. So I'm going to take my spray bottle now, and I'm going to just spray the paints. I'm trying not to spray the palette too much because I don't want my paints to run together over here. I don't want it because we're going to create puddles, okay? And I have my towel here, and I have a jar of water. And so I'm going to dip my brush into the water, and I'm going to just play with some paints. What I want you to see, though, is because we sprayed these, you can already, honestly, you can really tell that some of them are already like really softened top, sometimes a little more than I even want. So don't overspray them, or if you have, try to observe if you like it this time or not. But look at how glossy they are. I mean, that's a nice, easy to use watercolor set. So from here, though, I would just want you to know we're going to make puddles, and we can use those, and we can use from our paints, because by adding that water, we essentially made tiny puddles on top. Do you know what I mean? Okay, so that's just us making sense of things. But we'll dip our brush into the water. I'm going to show you how to get a puddle anyways. And I know I'm going to want something in the warm colors, so I'll just grab any color, get a few swipes. I'll swipe them onto my palette. You can tell you're not seeing much. That happens sometimes on these new palettes, okay? In fact, you know what I'm going to do real quick? I'm going to grab paper towel, because this bothers people all the time. I hear about it a lot. I like don't work for this paint company. I just really like it. I'm going to actually take paper towel and wipe down this whole side. I'm pressing into it. I'm going to see if it helps. We're just experimenting, but somebody told me they were able to wipe down their palette. Somebody did it with like a an abrasive side of a sponge, I think. And so probably don't do that. I think it helped, but it also maybe hurt, you know. Okay, now let's try this again. I'm dipping our brush into the water. I'm going to get some paint, wipe it on here. You can see it's a little bit bigger of a puddle. They just bead up. But we're going to take this paint, we'll take our brush right into the water and back, and now that is a puddle. Okay, and I can see the color. I like that. If I wanted it lighter, I could take some of this and put it over here, add water and lighten it up, and now I have 2 different sort of colors already, right? I could take another bit of it and leave it dark, and I've already got 3 different variations from the same paint. But also notice how easy it was for me to get these colors. So I started out using tubes. I'm big fan of pan sets of watercolors. So we're gonna make some puddles just for fun to see colors you might want to play with. Purple might be a little bold for me, so I'm actually gonna add a little bit. Okay, notice this one here. Can't remember what color it makes, so listen, I'm gonna clean my brush out and we're just gonna play with it. Huh, isn't that so funny? It looks so dark. It's not. It's lighter than the yellow ochre on the other side of the palette. But we can actually mix a little bit of that into our purple. And I'm gonna play with both of them for a minute and see if I get a color that I like. Wow, it's going really heavy into brown. So I'm gonna add a little bit more purple and play. Ah, there we go. That's a really nice plum color. Okay, so the point is right now we're just gonna play and create some little puddles over here. I'm just gonna tell you I'm grabbing paint, getting into my water and adding water, cleaning my brush and just moving on to a new one because I don't want to take too long on the mixing of puddles today. So I'm doing that kind of before your eyes. And you're also able to see some different colors on this set. And so honestly, there's some really lovely ones. I think it's hard to tell which ones are new because they're kind of similar to the ones that were already here. Well, we're going to work from puddles and paints, but the thing I wanted to remind you about wet on wet, let me get a puddle of something cool here, is that when we do it, and I'm going to zoom in for you, we're starting with filling in. Okay, watch how I do this one. All right, because I'm going to leave a highlight. I'm going to come around the outside like this. All right, and then as I come in to fill it in, I'm going to leave one bit like right there for a highlight, and I just closed off the edges of it. Beautiful spot for a highlight. Now it's kind of puddling. I'm cleaning my brush and I'm drying it on my towel. I'm just going to lift up any excess paint, and then I'm going to go right into my sprayed paints and just add some paint. And then this is going to be that really lovely soft bleed that we love watercolor for. You can do 2 colors or you can do more. I'm actually going to add gold into it. Let's see what happens. A little bit of gold right into it. Okay, and you can do the metallics throughout if you'd like to, because you do have that option with this set. But what I'm going to do is cool colors of some sort on all of these. And you can get kind of aggressive with your water. See how much I've got? I can dry my brush on my towel, touch it, and lift some of it up to gain back control. I have a whole 30-day series that gives you like in-depth about basically everything you want to know about watercolor, and they're free here on YouTube. So if this is feeling too fast for you, you could just go back to that one. But for now, we're just going to kind of bust along. Okay, I was going to do gold, but gold really doesn't count as a cool color, does it? So I would be messing with you there. Notice I'm not just going all greens and all reds, but you certainly could. But this is enabling me to try out a bunch of different colors and just have fun with this set. Now I really am aggressive with the water, and I'm actually going to tone it down instead of having to lift it up every time. But lifting is like a really powerful technique to know how to do, because it makes it so that you don't worry about problems too much. It's sort of like helps you master the use of watercolor, I would say, so that you're not worrying about a thing. You just know how to get it back. So it helps you play. And it helps you, I would say, you know, I like to say, like, don't be too precious about it. It helps you not be so precious about it. So on my first layer, I'm typically starting with a light color and getting into a darker color, but notice sometimes they're both light or sometimes they're both dark. And this might be a fun time to experiment. What happens if I try to add in a light color to a dark color? So much of what we do with our painting and with our paints is about playing and experimenting and watching and seeing what happens. All right, so far, really cute blends, and I'm going to remind you that while they're wet, you can do more. So I just grabbed yellow and added it in, and it will blend because the whole thing was shiny and reflective, so I know it was still wet. I'm going to go ahead and start a couple of these berries just for fun because I want to see what they look like together. So for that, we want a light color, but a warm color this time. Love it. I'm lifting out any excess paint color. Let's see here. Ooh, and then I'm getting right into a dark one. So what I do notice about this paint set, and I've noticed on some of their newer sets, is the paints do seem a little bit softer, which typically is really nice because it makes it very easy for you to get the pigment out. But I would say that on some of these, you may be careful with how much you're spraying the paints because it just might not need it. So notice what I did. I did a light colored paint and I added some darker paint into it. The darker paint was also wet, but not too wet. And that's going to be really beautiful color bleed. Do another one here. So as I do these, I'm also trying to leave a highlight where we can see some white paper. And lifting out a little bit of that excess again. I'm going to get into some of these really beautiful purplish colors. It's like wine color. Love it. And I'm putting kind of a shadow on one end. I clean my brush in between and look, I'm gonna go against our rules. I'm gonna add some blue to it. Some of this, it's one of the new lovely colors. And we'll watch those colors blend as well. You can always take your brush and blend it too, but you just won't get some of the cool markings that happen when you let watercolor or the water do the mixing of the paint for you. I'm going to take this purple I created. Remember the one that looked real brown? I got it back into a purple. Now I can tell this puddle is way less wet, so I'm going to quickly get into my other color of paint so it doesn't dry on me. And notice as it's less wet that paint doesn't go as far. Oh, it's so pretty. I did mix two colors for this one, but I love that. I don't know if you can see it if I zoom. And it's already drying, so I'm adding just a teeny bit of water here to see if I can assist the blend. Isn't this a fun little activity? Yeah, so I would say I love their 36 paint set, but this one is my next favorite, or maybe my favorite. Seems like they're just using their space better because, here, I'll show you. Let me get another color in here first. Hold on, I'm going to do one more color. I'm going to get some darkness on the edge over here. Okay, I'm going to show you one thing that bothers me about the set. I got to be honest. Okay, that's cute. Is this. As I'm painting right now, and I go to get a color, do you see what's happening? It moves, and I don't love it. I did try to pinch this, because it's like a metal tray. I think I can show you this. The tray comes out. And so you can actually move them around. I don't know why it's getting stuck. It does come out. But you can move them around and like change the order if you wanted to. I do wish though that it could clamp in tighter so they wouldn't move at all. But our 36 set, like look, I think it's even the same size. Let's see if I did it like this. Yep, it's the same size tin. So what they're just doing is instead of leaving the space for the paintbrush, which I never use for my paintbrush anyway, they gave us another row. I think that's a good use of space. Okay, let's get back to it. Oh, look at these colorful, like these beautiful markings. That's good stuff, right? And this is why watercolor is pretty beloved. So we've got a couple more. We'll hang out a little longer. So I don't want them so light that you can't see them. But things like this that are repetitive in nature, this is all circles and leaf shapes, they really allow for experimentation and observation. So they're really good ones to just play. The paints are in a different order than the 36 set, but it's not bothering me. It's making me play with them more than I would have otherwise, I think. So that drawing, maybe be thinking about what is a good holiday, one of your favorite holiday memories. You can do more than one comment and more than one memory if you want. I'm not your boss. Okay, I keep getting fuzz on here. I don't know what that's from. I think it's from my towel. I like to use a towel instead of paper towel because I just think it just dries and it can absorb more water. So like I don't have to be switching out paper towel because I'm, you know, it's getting all soggy or whatever. Let me see if you can getting us a little bit more light here. It would be fun to think about, can you do each one of these in a different color? But I just want to see some variety. Now remember, if it's puddling or pooling like this, lift up that excess, because otherwise what's going to happen is when you add in your second color, you're going to just lose control. It's just going to kind of run, you know, and we want the water to walk with it. Hey, I've never said it like that before, but that's funny. It's true. And then if you wanted to do any of these lines in here, you can. But since it's wet, they're going to be fuzzy. They're not going to be perfect. They're not going to stay where you tell them. They're just going to maybe add some interest. And now I'm going to get into some greens. So this first layer needs to all be wet at the same time for you to get this effect. So if you're sitting here with me and you're trying to do this and you're like, but mine won't do that, Audrey, and you're mad at me, let's talk about water control for a second, okay? So the whole thing needs to be shiny and reflective so that we know it's wet. If there's too much water, it's going to feel totally out of control. And if you don't have enough, it's going to be dry. And so it's going to sit as a layer on top of what was below it. So you really need to be thinking about the balance of how much of each that you need, and are you seeing the effect that you want? So if it's drying while you work, you need a little bit more water. And if it feels out of control, you need less water. So to adjust for less water, you can touch your brush to your towel and probably keep working, because that's going to quickly take some of them off, some of the water out. But otherwise, you may need to clean your brush in your water jar and dry it on your towel, and then dip your brush, maybe the first part of your brush, into your puddle. But those are all ways, right? There's different ways that we can get control of our water because we're using our water in a couple different ways. Now I like this purple over here, but I want to balance it out. So somehow over here, I want a little bit more of it. I think I'll come all the way over here for it. And if they're drying while you work, you need a little bit more water, because you can't play with watercolor the way watercolor can be played with if you don't have enough water. It is watercolor. I love these. This is the kind of thing I want to do if I want, I'm going to do two at once, okay? But if I want to relax and just, I want it like the therapy of watercolor, this is the type of thing I want to do. Is I just want to watch paint and water play together. Now notice I did two at once. I just knew they'd both be wet, and I'd be watching them and observing, making sure that they were wet. And so I'd have time. Do want a little bit of darkness on these edges. If you get some darkness on those edges, it's going to give really good dimension. And can you believe it? We are done. So I hope you loved this one. I think what could be cute, okay, let's not be done yet. We'll be done in a second. Here's what we're gonna do. This one's not dry yet, so I'm actually gonna move it. And I'm gonna show you this one that I had already done. And let's just see what it looks like with one of them outlined, and you can decide if you're gonna outline yours or not. I'm gonna follow these outside lines, kinda. In fact, that was pretty close. Watch this. I'm gonna go further away and leave some white space, because I don't want you worrying about that. And I also thought it could be cute to add little tiny circles to the edges of them if you wanted. And if you're gonna do a line in the middle, I honestly go really loosey-goosey about them, but you could either go like this and do a couple here and there. Can you see that? Or we'll do another one. Okay, so now let's do this. I'm gonna intentionally leave some white space or cut into it, because that's just the way I wanna see it today. And then what you could do is, let's say you did a perfect line down the center, and then you could use your points to be what you're gonna draw lines to. You can tell I don't really do it because I don't know how I wanna do my lines. I think I'll just curve them. Then you could add extras if you want. That seems a little odd to me, so I'm gonna get some extras in there. But what I like is it takes you right to those perfect points. I don't know. See what you think, but you can experiment with them and do a bunch if you wanted to. I think these would be very cute on like place cards. Maybe you did 1 and 1. Let me circle it. And then you wrote their name for the holidays or something like that, or on a greeting card. This could be your gift tags, would be adorable. Oh, I might do that. Or you can just sit here and doodle over all the rest of what you've already done, which I think is so fun too. You also could take this paper and literally just take a paper cutter and cut it, and whatever landed on your little square, that's your gift tag too. Lots of fun ways. Okay, share in the comments. I want to see your favorite holiday memories. And remember, you can comment as many times as you want. I mean, don't be like nuts about it, unless that's what you want to do. And here's the set. I'm going to show it to you one more time. I'm going to link it below as well. I'm not going to lie, it's a cutie. So yeah, hopefully, I think there's going to be a sale on it for Black Friday. So we should be hitting that point. And thanks for hanging out with me, you guys. We've got a series coming out December 1st, 12 days of comfort and color. I'm going to do a little commercial. It looks like this. We're going to take time for ourselves. We literally will have a list of cozy and a list of supplies for each day, and I think you're going to have fun. So I will see you then.